I'd like also now to ask a team from Microsoft who had a little video, a short video, just to show the audience and the stakeholders what smart city is really about and how our future city should look like. Microsoft.
My name is Pratik Roy. I'm here with my colleague and brother Paul Roy from Microsoft. And we plan to take you through a small demo on what cities of the future should look like. And before I embark on the demo with my colleague here, I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you all. I know there are quite a few people in the room here, so everybody cannot probably answer, but show of hands will do. So, question number one, what makes up a city? Is it schools? How many hands can go up here? How many guys say schools which make up a city? No hands? Okay, a couple of hands there. Roads and hospitals. Housing. Okay, it's getting better. Places of worship. Okay. How many of you say it's people that make up a city? I should basically see the whole room putting up your hands now, right? So it's you, me, everybody in this room that make up cities. And the idea is, what do we provide to these people, and how do they consume these services, and what do they feel about these services? That should determine how city leaders provide the next set of services. What we are doing, what we are implementing, are they good, are they bad? What is the citizen feeling about it? So what we wanted to do between my colleague Paul here is we basically wanted to take you through a quick demonstration of an application, and as we'll demo the application, we'll show you what we mean by the pulse of the people, right? Many of you probably remember the suggestion boxes that we're used to seeing outside all offices. How many of you have seen a suggestion box outside an office? I'm sure quite a few of us have, right? How many of us have probably dropped a suggestion? Quite a few hands. Yeah, most of us haven't. Now let me ask you, how many of you have suggested something on Twitter or on Facebook? How many of you have? I have. I'm sure a lot of us have, right? So our concept of suggestion boxes are changing. Social media is becoming the next form of suggestion platforms, right? So the demo that we're going to go through is basically going to take into account all these social platforms and how city leaders or administrators can then define the next level of service to provide. So Paul, please take over.
Yeah, thank you very much, Pratik. As you can see, when we talk about cities of the future, that's the information that you can get from the citizens and the people who live in that particular city, and then you can be able to gather some intelligence, some information from that particular data. So what I have here is a quick demo that we put up together in less than 24 hours to come and showcase to you the power of big data and some intelligence. So quickly, you can see, for example, if you want to follow what's happening in your city, let's say tourism in particular, you can be able to gather what the people are saying about tourism in that particular geographical region, could be the county, could be the city, and then you can be able to make some decisions based on that. What you can see up there is some decisions that have been gathered from social media, in particular Twitter and Facebook, and can tell us the trend around how tourism is doing, for example, or the economy in that case. Now, if you come down a bit and you want to drill down, you want to find out what's happening, let's say, with tourism in that particular city. Maybe the number of tourisms are going down, or so many people are talking about negative stuff about tourism, or positive stuff. You can actually drill down into that and have a bit of some data visualization, which is a very important concept. Grabbing this data together, being able to show it in a way that can be actually useful and you can actually make decisions out of it. So if you look at this slide over here, I can be able to pull left and right and be able to pick up a certain particular date. So let's say we want to look at from 10th to the 23rd and see how the tourism has been behaving after maybe a certain big decision has been made. Could be some laws have been passed around poaching, and that's going to affect how the citizens and the people are going to start discussing that particular idea. And you can see over here, if I do the slider, see how the tourism is rising, okay? So before a particular point in time, so many people were either giving positive feedback or negative feedback, which is very important for us because we want to gauge what sort of comments are coming in relation to that Pratik.
So basically what you're saying here is that if at a certain point in time, a new policy was passed to say the park fees are going to be increased, we would be able to see what the impact of park fees increase is from the common citizens, right? And either we draw back or we carry on with it.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. So once you make certain decisions, could be policy decisions, that decision is going to affect the citizens and the people who live in that particular area. And then they'll start discussing. They can either be giving positive feedback or negative feedback. Whichever feedback they give, we need to track that. And then we need to give them some feedback around that. We need to tell them that we are listening to them and we're actually going to do something around it.
Is it possible to have this trend across a couple of days, months, or weeks?
You are right. If you look down, just a bit down there, you can see that we're trending. We can look at the trend based on daily. So 24 hours, a governor can sit somewhere and say, let me look at the trend within every 3 days, or you can say monthly. And based on whichever you're looking at, time period you want to monitor that, it'll actually give you that.
Since you picked up tourism, can we have a look at tourism for this week or for last week, for example?
That's not a problem. We can decide and let's say we want to look at tourism alone for the last week. We can actually uncheck the others. And there you go. You can see tourism discussion has been trending lower and lower. Maybe nothing interesting is actually happening. So the trend, if you can look at the week starting on Wednesday, it was high. We had over 2,000 people discussing tourism. And as we move down across the week, something interesting, probably Connected Kenya is now taking up all the discussion. So fewer and fewer people talk about tourism.
So what we see here is basically a flattening or a dip in the interest of tourism.
Absolutely.
So when you said tourism, just explain to us here, how do you come up with, is it anybody or everybody who is talking about tourism in Kenya? Do we have to have a hashtag saying tourism, hashtag Kenya, or how do you come up with these words? What are we trying to follow here?
So we do have the concept of big data. We have certain words that could somehow aggregate together to make the word tourism. For example, if somebody is talking about poaching, or somebody is talking about KWS, or they're talking about Mombasa, most certainly they'll be somehow alluding to the fact that they want to go either visit that, or there's a positive or negative comment about that poaching. That's what we look at. So we have certain handles, certain words, keywords that we track, and we use those words to make these decisions that you see over here. So if you look at the cloud of words down there, there's something like poaching. You'll see something to do with KWS down there. I've highlighted a few. And definitely those are the kind of words we're tracking within Twitter and Facebook.
Okay, so this is fantastic. This is probably based on data that you have accumulated over time. Is it live? Can we see current data on what people are talking about?
Yeah, actually, if you look at the data, if the camera is clear, you can see a couple of seconds ago, a gentleman by the name Kiambui is actually tweeting and is talking about some digital news in Standard. Probably it has talked about something to do with people in Mombasa. So there's a bit of tourism-related words that have been aggregated into that. So this is really live and coming in at the moment. Probably the audience can try and tweet a bit, and we'll be able to track that.
So if you guys start tweeting now about Connected Kenya, we'll probably be able to tweet that as well. Yeah. What about from a week or a month perspective? Is it a possibility to see who are the top tweeters, who are the guys who are talking about different issues within a city or a county or Kenya in this instance?
So as I said, for you to be able to make decisions, for you to be able to know what's happening within your city, within your county, actually one of the panelists mentioned that if there's a water leaking somewhere, you want to know, has it been fixed, or is somebody working on that? Then you need to identify the people that you want to follow. In this case, we're also keeping track on the top tweeters or the people that you're following to gather that intelligence or that information. So from here, I can see the all-time tweet for last week. Somebody by the name Terminator. He was supposed to be Terminator. I think he played around the word. All the way, I can see Oreo Call over there. These are some of the people who are actually tweeting most of the time, and probably they were the highest tweeters last week.
Within the system, is it possible to set up to see top news business houses, people who are being followed the most on their tweets, and how does it change on a weekly basis, that kind of stuff, real time?
Yeah, right, Pratik. That's very important, and that's very easy to do. We know that the source of information and the source of the news we have is mostly from the media. So KTN over there is all-time high for last week. They had about 4,000 likes. And on the right-hand side is the all-time top 10 tweets and Facebook comments that we're getting from the social media. So you can be able to know which particular media house or news item you need to follow. Again, on the right-hand side is the all-time top 10. On the left-hand side is weekly basis. So it can change. Next week, probably Citizen will be up there, or probably a gentleman by the name Maina Kageni will be actually up there on the top 10.
All right, thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what you've just seen is a very brief demo, but this is not something that is out there. This is already a deployed solution in two countries by our partners OMS, who are currently in the room here, and they are also available in the lounge. You can have a discussion with them. This solution has been deployed in the Office of the President in Egypt, as well as in the Supreme Council of Education in Qatar, as we're talking now, right? So all I want to say before I go is a key thing. Suggestion boxes have changed. The question is, are you listening? And are you going to make a change? Thank you.